1919 was an auspicious year in history. The First World War ended, ushering a drastic change in the world order. The Philippine Islands had been a U.S. territory for 2 decades and was promised independence under the Jones Law of 1916. Progressive reformers saw the country and its people as a major target for modernization, and education was its main weapon. 7 forward-looking Filipinas came together in 1919 to create a school where young women could gain the knowledge and skills that would make them modern women. Paz Marquez Benitez was the first president of the Philippine Women's College. Jose Abad Santos was its first chairman of the Board of Trustees. Francisca Tirona Benitez was the second president, and with her husband Dean Conrado, guided the school from a house on A. Flores Street to its iconic Taft Avenue campus. In 1932, the college became a university, making PWU the first university for women in Asia founded by Asians. It provided a space where innovations in education flourished, and young people were encouraged to be the best that they could be. For over 100 years, the Philippine Women's University has been known as a leader in quality education. In 1934, PWU moved into its main campus on Taft Avenue, and since the 1970s has been co-educational. Located in the heart of Metro Manila, it is easily accessible by public transport and surrounded by affordable housing. Today's PWU offers undergraduate and graduate courses in several fields of study. Its business and management programs are responsive to the needs of industry, using evolving technology for global competence. PWU graduates excel in arts and sciences, education, social work, and diplomacy. Its fine arts and music programs have produced outstanding graduates through a holistic education that treasures heritage as well as excellence. PWU has pioneered in fields such as food science, nutrition and dietetics, medical technology, pharmacy, and nursing. PWU continues to play an essential role in producing graduates who possess the skills that make them competitive in the country and anywhere in the world.
This is the PWU President's Convocation 2021. Please welcome the Masters of Ceremonies, Mr. Mark Harvey B. Adamson.
Good afternoon to all. This is Mark Harvey Adamson, your Master of Ceremonies. Today, we are gathered as one community for our President's Convocation 2021. In any gathering, our community always invokes the Almighty to look upon us. We now have our interfaith prayers to be led by our very own PWU students and a faculty member.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, All the praises and thanks to be our God, the Lord of all that exists, the most gracious, the most merciful, the only honor and the only ruling judge of the day of recompense. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help, for each and everything. Guide us to the straight way, the way of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, not of those who earned your anger. Amen. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين صدق الله العظيم.
Let us put ourselves to the holy presence of a divine being as we come together virtually in His name. We praise the divine being for the faithfulness, unconditional love, and protection from the virus. We also thank the divine being for the gift of life that we continue to enjoy. Today, we ask His guidance for the success of today's President's Convocation. May we be endowed with wisdom and appreciation of the message from the President. May the divine being bless all of us now and forever.
Let us place ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day you've given us where we gather here for the President's Convocation. We ask that you not only bless this event, but also bless our university, its staff, its officers, and its students, especially during these trying times of the COVID-19 pandemic. We pray for today that we be blessed by good health, peace, and wisdom. We know and we believe that one day, this pandemic shall be over under your guidance, grace, and protection. We know and we believe that with your love and direction, we will overcome the challenges of our lives. Our Heavenly Father, please bless this event and may this time of meeting be a productive one for us and for all of PWU. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all rise for the Philippine National Anthem. At this point, may I now call on Dr. Shirley A. Padua, the chairperson of this year's President's Convocation and the Dean of the School of Education.
Good afternoon. Peace be with you. Welcome to our President's Convocation year 2021. Though this convocation may be a virtual gathering, nonetheless, this is significant to all of us in the context of community and in the spirit of unity and purpose. We would all prefer to be in the university hall, but we have to adapt to the present conditions and savor what matters most, which is celebrating our gains on the way we redesign our engagements and reconfigure our engines for innovations. By bringing us together on this special occasion, this gives us a timely reminder that in the historic corner of Taft Avenue, Manila, we accept our deepest obligation, that of imbuing the values of the university to the next generation of patriots. Perhaps after this day, we may be challenged to examine and consider multiple perspectives and head on for new possibilities in the 21st century. We may not know how this year will unfold in all of us, but we all look for a renewed hope and the eagerness of new beginnings. Again, I welcome you all to our President's Convocation. God bless us all. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Dr. Padua. Indeed, despite this challenging situation, we all look forward to renewed hope and new opportunities for this year, 2021. And that we may all act on the insights gained, as this may be the strength of our community. At this juncture, let us witness a short video presentation on the installation of the 10th President in February 2020, held at the Manila Hotel.
Board of Trustees of the Philippine Women's University, I am presenting to the public the 10th President of the University, Mr. Marco Alfredo M. Benitez.
As the chairperson of the Philippine Women's University Board of Trustees, I hereby pass on the scroll where the PW legacy is inscribed, a legacy of service to God, country, and home.
We gather here today to install PW's 10th president at the same time that we close the university's centennial year and renew our journey to the next 100 years. Together, therefore, let us build on the legacy of our founders and predecessors, and let us pave the way for the next generation of learners as PW stays true to its mission for the next 100 years. Thank you, and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
The video was a momentous event for the whole PWU community. It was not only the last big event of the university before the Metro Manila lockdown, but the occasion called for another 100 years of making a meaningful impact on the lives of our stakeholders. At this point, allow me to introduce the 10th president of the Philippine Women's University. Our president has exhibited leadership since he started studying. A consistent awardee from preschool to high school, chairman of the student council, and graduated class valedictorian and academic gold medalist. He took Bachelor of Science in Management Engineering in Ateneo de Manila University and went on for his Master's in Business Administration in the same university. Our president is a sports enthusiast. He's a sportscaster on ABS-CBN Sports and a co-host of several sports shows. He was a member of the Ateneo basketball team and a captain of the Ateneo team, which became champion in the 2002 UAAP. He had several corporations such as the Unlad Resources Development Corporation, Chiron Development Corporation, and the various entrepreneurial and family businesses. He is at present the president of South Manila Educational Consortium, or SMEC, which is a group of 12 higher educational institutions in Manila collaborating for social transformation through education. He is also a member of the Board of Trustees of the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities, or PACU. Our president is also a people-oriented leader. He truly knows how it is to win and bring out the best in people that he works with. Competition, challenge, values. These are what make up a smart leader. And these aspects make up the 10th president of the Philippine Women's University. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marco Alfredo Moya Benitez, the 10th president of the Philippine Women's University.
Members of the PW Board of Trustees, led by our chairperson, Ms. Vicky Amaling Gonzalez, Dr. Felina Young, University Chancellor and SVPAA, our hardworking administrators, deans and program chairs, faculty, alumni, our dear students, and our friends watching on our social media pages, good afternoon. Allow me first to thank all those who worked hard to organize this virtual convocation, led by Dean Shirley Padua and Dean Leo Munalim. This year marks PW's 102nd anniversary as an institution dedicated to a holistic education and righteous citizenship. The homecoming installation in February 2020 seemed almost ages ago. After nearly a year into this pandemic, our world has been turned upside down, and we in the education sector are in a virtual environment we never would have imagined this time last year. Let's stop to think of that for just a moment. Despite these drastic, unprecedented changes, however, one thing that has remained at the heart of our institution and our mission is our learner. As I had mentioned last year, and I will say again now, they are the why of our institution, and our experience and the actions we've taken throughout the course of the pandemic serve only to highlight that truth. Allow me to take us back briefly through what happened in school year 2019-2020. The school year started relatively well enough in August 2019, with first trimester enrollment figures relatively stable as compared to the same period the previous year. The second trimester also showed stable numbers, registering only the historical reduction that happens from one trimester to the next. After an immensely fun Christmas party and with preparations for the centennial culminating homecoming in full swing, the first cases of what was then the SARS-CoV-2 virus started appearing in February. Over the next few weeks, we had monitored the situation closely, releasing regular updates on the number of confirmed cases in the country. Then on March 15, 3 weeks after a successful alumni homecoming and installation, the government declared the enhanced community quarantine over Metro Manila for 30 days. On March 16, we met together with your administrators here at the CB Hall to discuss what would happen to the third trimester, as enrollment had to be suspended, and how we would respond should we need to take all classes online. Basically, the university was faced with the tough decision of whether to suspend classes altogether or continue via emergency remote learning. There were various sectors calling for a complete educational freeze because of the ongoing public health crisis. We decided, however, to proceed because of the uncertainty as to how long the pandemic would last, the need for education to continue for our students, and the need to sustain the operations of the school. In hindsight, that was a crucial step forward. In a matter of 2 weeks, we had to migrate the entire enrollment process online, and classes had to immediately be conducted remotely. After an entire trimester of growing pains, and there were a lot of them, from April to June 2020, as both the students and employees adjusted to remote learning and flexible work arrangements, we opened school year 2020-2021 in August, better prepared for flexible learning. Under the guidance of our SVPAA, we created the Learning Delivery and Technology Integration Team to address the pedagogical and technological needs for our faculty to be better prepared for flexible learning. They, together with our deans and program chairs, spearheaded a plethora of webinars, all directed towards adapting to this new mode of teaching and learning. On top of this, the university adopted many measures in order to support our community during those initial months, when we were all still very anxious about learning to live with the virus, and many were affected economically and emotionally as a result of the lockdowns. The support came in the form of holding off on tuition fee increases, offering discounts and rebates on miscellaneous and other school fees, drastically reducing installment fees while offering flexible payment options, allowing students to attend classes online despite not yet being enrolled, and even offering tablets and laptops on payment terms in order to support both the students and faculty struggling to cope with the effects of this health crisis. We even opened a We Rise as One scholarship last year, where qualified scholars only had to pay for miscellaneous and other school fees, just to allow more incoming students the chance to avail of a PWU education. Academically, we adopted a pass or incomplete grading system in that third trimester, just to relieve the pressure from the students and even allow those who received incomplete marks the entire first trimester of school year 2020-2021 to complete the requirements. In terms of operations, we crafted a 4-phase transition plan to mitigate the spread of the virus, keep our campuses and our members safe, while ensuring the continuity of operations. We've allowed our members to work and teach from home, where possible, to minimize each one's health risks. We also held off on leave deductions until May 15, 2020, a full 2 months after the declaration of the lockdown. Importantly, I admire how we stepped up to contribute in cash or in the form of leave credits, which amounted to more than 800,000 pesos, just to support our colleagues who could not work from home. In the middle of all of these, we also found it in our hearts to donate to and support the frontliners of PGH Medical Foundation and the victims of typhoons Rolly and Ulysses, which ravaged parts of Luzon late last year. Indeed, the Bayanihan spirit of working together, which we so espouse, even at our own personal cost, was in full display during these times. It was inspiring to see the entire community banding together to contribute to our response to the pandemic, especially in the first few months as we adjusted to this new normal. A heartfelt thank you to our faculty, from basic education all the way to graduate school, as this pandemic has arguably been toughest on you and your craft. Yet you've displayed resiliency and openness to change, yourselves becoming the lifelong learners that we want to mold our students into. It has been especially hard for our elementary teachers, tasked with handling the youngest and most vulnerable of our population, as well as those with special needs. Likewise, with our laboratory and skills-based courses, including music, fine arts, dance, allied health, where a little more imagination and innovation are necessary to teach these hands-on and performance-based subjects. Thank you to our administrators and unit heads for leading your respective teams, taking care of their primary needs, driving innovation, collaboration, and sharing of ideas, because as we know, there have been no perfect solutions to these challenges, but solutions that need continuous feedback and improvement. To highlight some examples, as our libraries closed to the public, our librarians shifted to become curators and consolidators of digital resources to supplement our online classes and theses and dissertations. As of the most recent tally, Ms. Purita Uson and their library team have amassed close to 17,000 e-books, e-journals, articles, and other forms of digital media for use by our community. Our lab custodians, as our labs continue to be closed, have been repurposed to aid our faculty conduct their virtual simulations. Our guidance counselors from basic ed to tertiary shifted to telecounseling, providing students with the mental and psychological support very much needed without having to see them physically. Even Dr. Ligo at our Institute of Family Life and Children's Studies, through their online wellness kumustahans, have given the community a vital outlet for their worries, anxieties, and valuable insights on how to cope with this unprecedented phenomenon. My thanks and commendations go out to all of them. Our shift to flexible learning was led by our SVPAA, Dr. Felina Young, the Learning Delivery and Tech Integration team led by Dr. Shirley Padua and Dr. Menchita Dublao, in collaboration with our deans and program chairs who helped craft our guidelines for flexible learning. This allowed us to more effectively achieve the learning outcomes for our students, mindful of the different constraints this virtual environment provides. Through feedback and needs assessment, they were able to tailor the different webinars in accordance with the immediate needs of our faculty. And moving forward, are developing a flexible learning curriculum which will allow us to set a standard of excellence across all our teaching units. In line with adapting to change, we commend our different programs for raising their standards while maintaining a spirit of empathy towards the circumstances of our students. The School of Arts and Sciences, led by its new dean, Dr. Leo Munalim, who is also the new head of the Research and Development Office, has re-energized its culture of research, locally and internationally, as many of its faculty also serve in the editorial boards of acclaimed peer-reviewed journals here and abroad. He, together with our program chairs, Dr. Alcazaren, Dr. Dublao, Ms. Villafuerte, and Ms. Segovia, are championing our renewed focus on a liberal arts education. The School of Education, led by Dean Shirley Padua, having maintained its PACUCOA Level 3 accredited status in the undergraduate level, also recently passed the remote virtual accreditation for Level 1 status conducted by PACUCOA for 3 of its graduate programs. We commend them for their emphasis on high-impact research, inclusive education through both physical and online platforms, and their adoption of transformative education through brain-friendly teaching and learning strategies. We welcome back Dean Josephine Torralba of the School of Fine Arts and Design. Her expertise, international experience, and innovative approach already evident with the various initiatives, webinars, virtual exhibits, and collaborations has reinvigorated the program and bodes well for the coming years. We congratulate Ambassador Rosario G. Manalo, Dean of the HDB School of International Relations and Diplomacy, for once again being elected to another term as expert to the Committee on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, for 2021 to 2024. We commend Dean Earl Jimenez and the School of Music for hosting the SMEC Colloquia ng Musika, a well-attended research colloquium on the conduct of research in the field of music and ethnomusicology, particularly in the time of pandemic. We congratulate as well the achievers from their school, Kelvin Floyd Basangkay, first placer in the flute open class category at the Asian Virtual Championships, Jean Saliendra, NAMSIA finalist, and Reynaldo Abellana, awarded 2019 the Outstanding Young Men in Arts and Humanities Classical Music category. The School of Hospitality Management, School of Tourism, School of Food Science and Technology, as well as the Conrado Benitez Institute for Business Education, have all proactively embraced the shift to this virtual environment by moving their activities online, be it skills competitions, election of student officers, lectures and webinars on the state of food, tourism, meetings and events, marketing, and business industries. Recently, the School of Tourism has also partnered with one of the country's renowned travel agencies, Raha Travel, to provide third and fourth year students with a remote practicum program. Congratulations, Dean Prime Abellana, Ian Soriano, Dr. Ligaya Braganza, and of course, Dr. Young for leading these initiatives. Our allied health programs have been among the busiest, not only in terms of shifting their heavily regulated and skills-based courses online, but also dealing with affiliate hospitals and institutions and staging webinars involving topics highly relevant to our frontliners. The School of Nursing, led by Dr. Minerva de Ala, has been the fastest growing and is now our largest graduate school program in terms of enrollees, catering to students as far as China and the Middle East. The School of Pharmacy, MedTech, and Nutrition have produced graduates that did notably well in the 2019 board examinations. We welcome our new, young, and dynamic program chairs, Sherwin Toriano for the School of Medical Technology and Vanessa Ceballos for the School of Nutrition, joining Harvey Adamson of Pharmacy and Dean De Ala of Nursing to complete our allied health cluster. Of course, in this time of pandemic and natural calamities, our Philippine School of Social Work and Unicor, led by Eve Valencia, have been at the forefront of our community extension efforts, not only in raising health awareness in the time of COVID, but also in our relief distribution drives for the victims of the Taal volcano eruption and typhoons Rolly and Ulysses last year. We commend our basic education unit, JASAMS Manila and Quezon City, led by Executive Director Remedios Cruz, Principals Diane and Regina, and their entire team for adapting the JASAMS pedagogy of differentiated experiential learning, even in an online environment. They've recreated most of their activities online, such as Curriculum Day, English, Math, Arts, and Social Studies Month, and even their guidance counseling sessions, while providing their students with an experience that is still uniquely JASAMS. JASAMS Manila, in particular, achieved PAASCU Level 3 accredited status last year, while Quezon City is awaiting its visit this year. Speaking of accreditation, last November, 10 of our graduate programs in business, hospitality management, food science and technology, nutrition and education simultaneously underwent remote virtual accreditation by PACUCOA, the first among all graduate programs in the country. Congratulations to Dr. Young, Dr. Zornosa, our Graduate Studies Director, and the programs that accomplished this feat. 2021 will be another year where we strive to raise our standards through continuous accreditation of our different programs. Of course, we would not be where we are today without the efforts of our non-teaching student support services. The Office of Campus Life, Student Affairs, Sports Development Office, and Student Publications, led by Dr. Susie Benitez, have remained active all throughout. They've shifted student activities online, including student council elections, continued with graduation pictorials, conducted PE and varsity training via virtual means, and with the guidance of Dr. Munalim, have even revived the Philwaminian and the Paseo, our student publications, in both print and digital formats. They are also going to release some long-awaited editions of the Maroon and White Student Yearbook this year. The External Affairs and Scholarship Office, led by VP Freddy Reyes, have ensured that our external linkages, both local and international, remain strong despite the pandemic. Equally important, our scholarships, grants, and financial aid continue to be given out to students in need. In fact, out of 8,093 students that enrolled university-wide for school year 2019-2020, 1,075, or roughly 13%, were given some form of scholarship. Our administration, led by VP Marilu Mirasol, together with MSDC, led by Dr. Nini Lim, have taken the lead in ensuring that our facilities have been reoriented and re-engineered, if needed, to adhere to all health protocols to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in all our campuses. and we appreciate everyone conscientiously adhering to the guidelines. Thank you to our nurses in particular, who have been our first line of defense in screening all visitors for almost a year now. And while most of the community are working and teaching from home, the admin personnel have begun the rehabilitation and renovation of many of our facilities since last year. We thank our security and maintenance personnel who, regardless of the level of community quarantine, have religiously fulfilled their duties, keeping our campuses safe and clean. Not a lot of you may know, but the Registrar's Office, as soon as ECQ was lifted and we went into phase 2 of our transition plan, have been on campus every day to process student records which are too sensitive to be processed elsewhere. Thank you, Fernan, and your entire team for your dedication and sacrifice. We thank our Finance and Accounting Department under VP Ana Del Rosario for judiciously monitoring our finances and making sure we are financially stable amidst this crisis. In particular, to our cashiers who have also regularly reported on site to process payments of our students, we express our heartfelt appreciation. It must be noted that for the first time in many years and in the middle of the pandemic, we were able to submit our final audited financial statements on time and even ahead of the deadline to both the SEC and the BIR. One of our main thrusts has always been to nurture and develop our human capital. Through the HRMO led by Cheryl Zantua, we are putting it into order and updating our recruitment, assessment, evaluation, training and development processes. Already, they have reassessed most, if not all, our faculty, and are now in the process of refining the evaluation of our NTPs to ensure that, to the extent our resources will allow, we give each one a fair and just compensation, and that we have a professional development plan in place. More importantly, through their feedback and survey mechanisms, they make sure that their voices are heard and that they are listening to your needs. We cannot end without acknowledging that the university's digital transformation in both process and experience is due in large part to our ICT, multimedia, marketing, and admissions teams, who not only provide the platform but manage the experience and the points of interaction between the different stakeholders of the university. Our social media presence, the student and employee experience on our portals, Google Classroom management, and even the production of our webinars, to name a few, are heavily reliant on their tireless efforts. Thank you to Mike, Nelson, Bob, and the rest of your teams. As you probably have heard, the country's vaccine rollout is set to begin this first quarter for the medical frontliners. By the government's estimates, the other priority groups, including the education sector, will likely be vaccinated beginning the second and third quarter of the year. True to our values, we will make it a point to contribute to the government's efforts in any way that we can, so that we can do our share in ending this pandemic sooner rather than later. Realistically, we foresee that flexible learning will continue through to the end of 2021, with some programs gradually being allowed to resume limited face-to-face classes for specific laboratory and skills-based courses, as well as practicum subjects. Rest assured that the university will take a cautious approach without sacrificing our students' learning experience. Moving forward, we remain committed to upgrading our facilities and preparing them for hybrid learning, which we foresee will be here to stay. The digital transformation that was started several years ago and accelerated by COVID-19 will be further strengthened through our partnerships in the areas of enterprise resource planning, learning management platforms, cybersecurity, and other digital educational resource providers. Forgive me for this lengthy address. You will notice that I've tried to include all of the units of the university, and I apologize to those I may not have been able to mention. But this is to emphasize the fact that it has really been a whole of university response to this once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. While there are still areas for improvement, we would not be here without the contributions of each and every one of you. And we will continue to succeed moving forward only with the cooperation of everyone. After World War II, when the university was nearly burned to the ground, PWU was able to rise from the ashes because of the founders' unshakable commitment to their mission and the legacy of this institution. That is, to provide Filipinos with an education that would prepare them for a life of continuous learning, directed towards the holistic development of character, in preparation for career and professional competence, but with a firm grasp of family values and oriented towards a life of leadership and community participation. That is the commitment that we affirm and that we strive to pass on to our students, the next generation. And working together, that is the commitment that will allow us to build back better, even in the face of this once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. Thank you once again, and may you all continue to stay safe and healthy.
At this point, may I now call on Mr. Nathan Abella from the School of Music for a song rendition.
Hello, my name is Nathan Abella, and I'll be playing a song by Natasha Bedingfield entitled Unwritten. I am unwritten, can't read my mind, I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. I break tradition, sometimes my tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Staring at the blank page before you, open up a dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Judge yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Oh, no one else can feel it for you, only you can let rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nathan Abella, for that wonderful song rendition. As we near the end of the program, may we all be reminded of the glorious 101 years of the Philippine Women's University. From its past presidents up to the present, the maroon and white colors have carried many heroes, educators, scholars, policymakers, musicians, designers, healthcare workers, entrepreneurs, students, both past and present. Now is the time to continue the legacy for love of country, God, and home. Before we end this event, please evaluate our occasion by scanning the QR code displayed on the screen. Your honest evaluation will help us improve virtual activities in the university. Again, please scan the QR code displayed on the screen to help us improve our event in the university. To formally end our event, let us all sing the PW hymn with pride and dignity. Again, this has been Mark Harvey Adamson, your Master of Ceremonies, saying thank you. Stay safe and God bless everyone. See you in our next President's Convocation.